At least 3 out of 4 analytic projects produce no business value. Yep, you heard me. 70 to 80% of analytic work fails to deliver any value. Maybe it has to be redone, maybe it's not delivered in a way the business can use it, or maybe it just sits on a shelf gathering dust. We can fix this, and we have to fix this. Hi, I'm Wendy Lynch. I train analytic translators so they can drastically increase ROA, return on analytics. So I want you to ask yourself, how big is your return on analytics? Most likely, not big enough. Your ROA, return on analytics, or call it analytic ROI if you want, whatever you call it, I'm referring to that return that's generated by people who transform raw data into value, solutions, answers, and products. A big ROA is what companies get when they harness the brilliance and creativity and talent of analytic teams. But trust me, companies do a lousy job converting analytics to value. Now, those of you who know me know that I am not a salesy kind of person. I like to persuade people with evidence and subtlety, but this problem isn't subtle. So today, I want to spell it out as clearly as I can. What if you could double, triple, or quadruple your return on analytics? Because you can. If you're in the analytic field, you probably already know that your ROA is low. It's anemic, and it's certainly not what your company needs it to be. But if that's news to you, you're either ignoring the truth, or worse, you simply think this is how it has to be. I repeat, your return on analytics is not what it needs to be. I'm going to show you 3 graphs that tell you why. Each one is the result of a LinkedIn poll. Graph 1 is where I asked business professionals who work with analysts, how often do you get the analytic results you ask for in a format that you can use and understand? Well, here are the alarming results. Fewer than 1 in 10 say they almost always get what they need. But 67% of business professionals said they don't really get what they need, and it's not very often or never. So they get value way too infrequently. Only about 30% of the time do they say they mostly get what they need. And if you think about it, that's like the rate of a good 3-point shooter in basketball making their shots. But if you pardon the analogy, this should be a free throw. Simply getting information that they ask for should be a no-brainer, but it is not. For almost 70% of the respondents, the answer is not really. Second graph, I asked data scientists who are working in business, how often do you get clear context for the requests that people give you? And that would mean that the person requesting your work gives you full context of why it's needed, they take advantage of your expertise, and they ask for your input. Well, what we see is fewer than 1 in 10, so sounds familiar, say they always get the context that they need and they are asked for their input. 2/3 of the analysts say either never or once in a while do they sort of get the context they need. So again, we're seeing that 65 to 70% of the time, we're not making use of analytic talent that we hire. So companies have to do better. By the way, as a side note, the Gartner Group, a management consulting firm, published a report that said they estimated in 2022 that over 80% of analytic projects delivered no business value. So if you're wondering about my polls, yes, these results are typical. ROA is way too low. Graph number 3. I wanted to find out how business requests, and them being cryptic, affected the quality, efficiency, and value of analytic work. So I asked analysts, how often do you give the business exactly what they want on the first try? Only 5% said always. I repeat, 1 in 20, 5%. More than 1/3 said almost never. And 66% said it's less than half the time or never. So if you do the math, we can estimate that 70% of projects do not deliver value the first time. And this is the analysts telling us that that's what's happening because they know it's broken. Actually, one respondent added a comment and said, well, technically, I do give them exactly what they asked for, even though it's not what they really want. See, that's exactly the problem. This relationship between business and analytics is broken, and your ROA is less than 1/3 what it should be. So getting the answer you need should be a free throw, as I said, not a half-court, 3-point Hail Mary at the buzzer. So what do we do about this? What people don't understand is that this is not a talent problem. This is not a systems problem. You will not fix it with the perfect dashboard or applying the newest, fanciest tool. You fix this by fixing two things. Number one, how you structure projects. And number two, most importantly, how you communicate between teams. You fix it by training and embedding analytic translators. Those translators will double your return on analytics immediately. Teams with a trained analytic translator will be more efficient, more creative, more satisfied, and deliver way more value to the business. And the individuals who are trained as translators become essential team members who multiply the value of analytics by getting things right the first time. These individuals will open an entirely new career pathway for themselves because the business teams learn to rely on them. Analytic translators are in demand already today, and I predict probably in the next 5 years they'll become the most in-demand role because of ROI. And before you jump to the conclusion that analytic translators are just people who are good at formatting results, no, that does not fix the problem. Because remember, 7 out of 10 times, analysts are not delivering the answer the business wants. So it won't matter if you have the perfect graph design with the perfect colors and the perfect font. If it's not the right answer, then we won't deliver value. So analytic translators learn not just how to present valuable results, but also how to communicate in ways that identify the exact business need so you can get the answer right the first time. Remember, we want a free throw, getting it right like 9 out of 10 times, not just 2 or 3 out of 10 times. So if you calculate the opportunity cost of failed analytics, well, you can see my webinar on hidden costs, but let's summarize it quickly. We find that the full cost of low efficiency, rework, low job satisfaction, and turnover, which includes the full opportunity costs across sales and marketing and operations and product development, that full cost comes to about $200,000 per analyst. Even if it's half that, even if it's a third of that, is it any wonder that your ROA is weak and way below what it should be? Every day you keep the status quo, your analysts will deliver value at the same rate as a Hail Mary 3-point shot from half court, instead of efficient delivery of the right answers the first time, just like the best free throw shooters. So this is critical. Do not wait. Train team members in analytic translation skills. You will double your ROA or more, guaranteed.